Let me ask you this. The one who says they live in him ought to walk the same manner that he walked. Here's my question. Do you? The two questions. Do you say, whoever's watching this, do you say, I live in him? Do you call yourself a Christian? Do you call yourself a believer? Whatever you want to call it. Whatever title you like. I'm a disciple. I'm a follower. Do you? Do you live in him? Okay? And do you walk in the same manner that he walked? Or do you pretty much have your own little lifestyle? Chapter 4, still in 1 John, before I get out of it. If someone says, I love God, so I wish I had about 1 million people in the room today. It'd be crowded. I'd ask them, do you love, say this, if you love God, say, I love God. And all of them would say, I love God. I love God. Probably all of them. If someone says, I love God, and hates their brethren, their brothers, other people, they're a liar. For one who can't love a person they have seen, they can't love God that they've never seen. Remember, I'm trying to keep this context here. This is written by John, who also recorded and wrote the Gospel of John we're studying. This is all from the same person. This guy was so close to Jesus. Jesus referred to him as my beloved, and he's the only one of the 12 that was not martyred. He's the only one out of all 12 of them that died at old age. He's telling you the truth. He's not just making up a bunch of stuff. He's telling you some deep truth. If somebody says, I love God, but they hate other people, they're a liar. For someone who doesn't love other people that they have seen can't love God who they haven't seen. And this is the commandment that we have from Him. The one who loves God should love his brother also. Now that word brother does not mean a biological male kin. It doesn't mean brother like that. The word brother there means another person. This is the commandment that we have from Him. One who says they love God should also love his brother, his sister, other people. Wow. Okay. Go back to John. Let's see if we can get into chapter 15. Now you can see why I have been in this series for what? I don't know. At least 15 weeks. Chapter 15. And this is, if you look at your Bible, and if you'll notice, you have one of those, what do they call them, red letter editions, where everything Jesus said, all the exact quotes are in red. Well, look at chapter 15, verse 1, and chapter 14, verse 31. It's all in red, because Jesus is still speaking. He's just still flowing in his conversation. When this thing was originally written by John, the beloved guy, he didn't write it in chapter and verse. Okay? That was all added by the translators. And that's what makes it good and bad. That's what, on one hand, it does make it a little easier to keep up with and keep everybody on the same page. But the bad news is it also kind of provides little scriptures that people can pull out of context and build a whole church around. So be careful. So chapter 15, verse 1, Jesus still speaking, I am, notice that. He says that all the time. I am truth. I am light. I am this. I am that. Right here, I am, he's going to say vine. understand that the phrase I am is Jehovah? That's God's name. I am is God's name. Back in the Old Testament, he got asked, who is this? And God's answer was, I am. That I am. So every time you hear Jesus start a sentence with, I am, he's basically saying, God, I am the vine. My Father is the vine dresser, the gardener, one who takes care of the vine. Every branch in me that doesn't bear fruit, he, vine dresser, takes it away. And this is one of those, this is what I'm saying, this is one of those scriptures that you've got to get the flow of the context, because there's some denominations that will take something like this out of context. He would take it away. Every branch that bears fruit, listen, it's translated here, he prunes it. Look it up. If you've got a Strong's Concordance, you look it up. The word that was translated prunes there, because he's talking about like a grapevine, and that would make sense. But actually, the Greek word prune is actually he purges or cleans. Keep that in mind. Every branch that does bear fruit, he purges it, that it can bear even more fruit. And listen, and you are already purged, already clean. Well, you're going to have to you're going to have to meditate on this. I'm the vine. I wish I had my big dry erase board today. I would draw you a picture. I'm the vine. Picture a big grapevine. Father is the gardener. Every branch that doesn't bear fruit, okay, if you have a branch on the grapevine that never produces any fruit, he's not mad. He's getting it out of the way. But everything that does bear fruit, he purges. You know how you would be purging it? You'd be watering it more. You'd be washing it. You'd be watering it. So it could bear even more fruit. And you are already purged or cleansed or watered because of the words that I've spoken to you. Live in me, and I in you. As the branch can't bear fruit by itself unless it lives in the vine, you can't, neither can you unless you live in me. This is like a duh picture. You can't take go to a grape vineyard and break you off a branch and take it home and lay it on the porch and wait for it to bear fruit. Or go put it, on your dining room table and just wait for it to bear fruit. A branch by itself doesn't bear fruit. You understand? And that's what Jesus is saying. You also, you have the picture here, you can't bear fruit for God apart from Him.